There we go. There's the lunch bell. All right, so we'll get started with our monthly chapter presidents and advisors meeting. As always, please introduce yourself in the chat so that we know sometimes your name on Zoom doesn't come up with first and last names, and it helps us to make sure that we know which Sherry is which, because we've got a few Sherrys as an example. So just please help us to see who all's here joining us today. I've just started the recording and we'll share the slides, the chat, and the notes, and the recording on the website, if not by this afternoon, first thing tomorrow morning. Okay, Michelle, do you have anything, or I'm just going to go on through it? And thank you to Sherry for taking notes for us today. All right, so we've got our brief agenda on there. There were a few changes from the last time that we sent out the tentative agenda in the email. So there's a few additions and a few subtractions here just to make sure that we stay focused on kind of the big priorities for this month. So we'll be covering this group of items today. First, to start off, we have a new student worker and an outgoing student worker in my office in College Station, although not based in College Station anymore with this new hybrid and virtual work style. So Annabelle Moore is a new new student worker. She is also a master naturalist with the Big Country chapter. She joined last year. We're excited to have her join our program and help to manage a lot of the things on the back end, such as our website, our annual meeting events, our social media, marketing, imaging, things like that. So you'll see her touch on items throughout the next couple of months as she's starting to really catch up and pick up all of the pieces of the program. And we are also going to be saying goodbye to Cameron, our other student worker. She just recently, as of 2 weeks ago, graduated with her Master's of Science in Business from A&M, and she'll be transitioning out to an incredible new job that she got post-graduation in Houston. And so she'll be transitioning out in late June, early July. So if y'all get a chance to drop them a note and say congrats to Cameron and good luck on her new adventure, and then help us to welcome Annabelle as well. And Cameron did mention that her new job is only a few blocks away from where our annual meeting is in Houston this year, and she might have to come over at lunchtime. I think we've hooked her for life.
She also mentioned that she got her new job because of all her experience working for the Master Naturalist program and helping with our conferences.
She did.
So one of the big efforts she'll be doing in her new job is coordinating some conferences.
Yep. And that's our goal with any of our student workers, is to move them on to bigger and better items. Okay. Moving down the list of programs and announcements, our TNM Tuesday events are running full steam. So far, we have had 5 really incredible presentations this year. I know that the previous one with Richard Halverin was really well attended, and we really appreciate everybody joining us there and then sharing those resources and promoting the messages that Richard shared with us. As always, these are the second Tuesday of each month, and they do count for advanced training, either watched live or recorded. Our next month's TNM Tuesday is going to be a little bit different, and we are really excited, and I'm wearing my NASA shirt on purpose today. Our next TNM Tuesday event is going to be on June 14th, which is our standard TNM Tuesday date, but it is going to be our downlink with Kjell Lindgren, our master naturalist who is currently stationed on the International Space Station. And actually the Boeing Starliner is actually outgoing from the ISS today. I get the tweets on all their progress. This TNM Tuesday event, however, will be slightly different because it is a downlink from the International Space Station. We have to work off of their timeline. So he's going to be hosting this between 2:30 and 4 o'clock p.m. We're still waiting on final satellite time. So they've got to position and understand where the satellites are going to be to be able to bounce the signal, and all of these things that we never thought we would think about with the Master Naturalist program, but we're so excited that we get the chance to talk to him. So we will have a registration page, and I see people have the stickers. I have the sticker on my phone too. And all of the patches and stickers are not sanctioned and sold by us as a program, but you can easily find them on the Googles. So again, this is going to be a different TNM Tuesday timing wise and probably style as well. We will have a registration event for the page, a page for the event. We don't have that yet, and we have very tentative time. So as soon as we start to hone in on those final details, we'll share that with you, but please let your Master Naturalist know that we are a go for June 14th. For now, however, the other request that we have of all of you is to help us to solicit questions from your members. We are able to send him questions to answer. It's not going to be your typical style where we're able to talk with you. You're able to chat with us live. It'll just be Michelle and I talking to him and asking your questions as your liaisons during this session. So the way that you participate in this event is you will submit those questions ahead of time to be at, and then Michelle and I will ask those questions during the actual webinar. We will probably have to filter those questions. We will do one filter, and then NASA will have to do a second filter on them, and then we'll send them up to him via his astronaut email right before the event. Anything else on that one, Michelle? No? Okay. So
actually, do you have, I don't have the survey handy, the survey link. If you could drop that into the
I can grab that real fast.
Chat.
The survey link is on our website on this page right here. The TNM Tuesday event will also be open to the public. But again, same registration process. They'll have to register as any Master Naturalist does. Okay, I'm going to move on if I don't see anything else. July 12th, our next TNM Tuesday event after that. This is also a unique TNM Tuesday event. How the calendars ended up working out this year is we had two overlapping TNM Tuesday and chapter presidents and advisors meeting. So our July TNM Tuesday and our July chapter presidents meeting are the same date, same time, July 12th at 12 noon. And these are going to be open to all members. So it's a leadership focused event. And it won't be in this style where we're telling you about programs, but it's a training learning event for your members to attend, you to attend. It is a joint webinar, TNM Tuesday and chapter presidents meeting all in one. Again, it'll focus on leadership management topics. We have a fantastic speaker that we are working to finish the final details on to line up for you. And as soon as I have that check mark, we'll be sharing that off with you guys so that I'm excited to be able to hear from him if everything works out. And again, this is the first of the two overlapping TNM Tuesday chapter presidents meetings. The second one is in December 13th. And we're also working with this same group to have a similar or slightly different follow-up style program. They won't be the same webinars, July's and December's, they'll be different, but they'll be building upon each other. Did I say that right, Michelle? They'll be building upon each other is how we've worked with it so far. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm going to keep going unless you've got anything else. Michelle, you want to talk about the Be the Change workshop recap?
Yes. So the Be Change workshop, I think we mentioned this in our last monthly meeting with you too, that we had a great workshop for the spring kind of culminating event for the Be the Change webinar series. We had more than 65 people in attendance, and actually over 100, I think about 108, 111 had registered for the event. And everybody who registered, the information from the training has been sent out to them. 65 were in attendance that day. It was almost a full day of training from 9 to 1 p.m. And this group spent a lot of time. It was really a collaborative effort. We learned, we contributed to some definitions, some draft definitions for the Master Naturalist program regarding diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. We currently have a follow-up survey out, and we've just extended the deadline on that. So for chapters who haven't submitted, reviewed the information and submitted their input to the definitions, that survey is still open through the 4th of June. But the link for that, along with the links for the information that was shared at the workshop, went out to all the registrants. It went out again today. And then we're also, as part of the follow-up, we're also still seeking chapters input and ideas on recruitment, retention, and outreach, the 3 pillars of our strategic actions and measures. So if there are ideas and thoughts and specific strategic actions and measures that your chapter can contribute to those 3 pillars, part of the strategic plan that has been developed through the workshop, please contribute those. And then the recording of the Be the Change workshop is available. So just let us know if you need that, and we can send you the link. Again, just a word of caution, it is long. It's it was held 9 to 1 that day. So with a working lunch. So, and thank you for everybody that attended and submitted, and those of you that have taken the survey so far.
And if you weren't able to attend and you want that recording, in that same email that has the recording, we'll also send you that survey so that you can participate in both the recording and then that follow-up survey as well. Okay. All right, getting into the annual meeting and some of the program planning that we're working on here. Our call for proposals is currently live. We do have a deadline of May 31st out now. So please help us. What we're asking of you, your chapters, your members, your training directors, your leadership, is to take that call for proposals. I just forwarded it on to the listserv again today, and send that to your favorite speaker or 3 of your favorite speakers. Those folks that you have heard from recently that you think other Master Naturalists across the state would enjoy hearing from, would benefit from hearing from. They have an advanced training message that would resonate with more than just your chapter. They were engaging, they were exciting, they had high energy to be able to share with Master Naturalists. So we need your help to invite these great speakers to be part of our event and submit their presentations via the website and our call for proposals. So please help us to get that out. And that deadline again is May 31st. We are also working on field sessions for the annual meeting. Right now, I've convened the local chapters in the Houston Gulf Coast area, and they have a ton of really great ideas. One of the biggest problems with going to Houston is that there's so much to do in Houston. The diversity of green spaces and project areas and opportunities to get outside is so high. So what we're doing this year is we're doing a kind of a crowdsourcing of field sessions, and then we'll upvote as the local chapters. So they're all going to submit their ideas, their locations to a Google Doc that we're working together on, and then we will each chapter will get 1 vote, and we'll vote for the different field sessions that they want you and your members coming from across the state to attend. So I'm hoping to have all those field sessions in by May 31st, and then we'll upvote throughout the month of June and have that ready for our agenda July 1st as well. So I just wanted to let you know the process that we're going through. And this is something slightly different. We did something similar to this in 2018 in Georgetown with the diversity of options there, but this is a different way of trying to collect field sessions this year, and I'm hoping it's going to be to your benefit. Okay, thinking through the timeline, because that's how I think through things for the annual meeting. May 31st, a lot of things are happening. That's our call for proposals deadline. That's the field sessions deadline. My goal is then in the month of June is to take all of those sessions, organize the logic puzzle that is our agenda, and on July 1st or the first week of July, I'd like to share the full agenda and that full registration cost with you and your chapters. So you'll have all of that at the early parts of July so that you have one full month to kind of digest all of that. And then early August, again, my goal is that August 1st kind of timeline is to launch registration. And registration, as y'all know, is always first come, first served for our different sessions that we host at the meeting. Mute some folks. So registration will go all the way through August and all of September. We'll close registration September 28th. That's a Wednesday. I have to turn in those final numbers to the hotel by that Friday. By that Friday, September 30th, we have contests closing. So that's the Advisors Award, Photo Art Media, Video Contest, Project Fair. Those will all close September 30th as well. And then October 11th is our TNM Tuesday Project Fair presentations. And I'll dive into these here in just a little bit more. And I'm going to answer Carla's question here in just a second as well. So we have 4 contests that happen at the annual meeting, or 4 awards, that contest/awards that we ask for your input and your nominations and your engagement in. The first is our Chapter Advisors Award. This is an awesome opportunity to recognize the work of your advisors and the impact that they've made on your chapter. Sometimes it is a very thankless job, and so we want to give them thanks for their dedication, their work, their engagement in the volunteer service that your chapter is providing in the area. So please consider nominating your advisor. These are not on the website yet. Our goal is to get them on end of this week, early next week, but we're just giving you a heads up since we've got you today. That'll be due September 30th, that nomination. Michelle, jump in here if I'm missing anything, please.
So, and really all of the award nominations and kind of deadlines will be September 30th.
Yep. Try and keep it easy this year. It's a Friday, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Photo art and media contest. So we are hosting this again this year, and it'll stay with some aspects of the contest will stay virtual. We're still working on what parts of that contest are going to go transition to back to the in-person style that we've had in the past. We are still working with a potential host chapter, and that's not finalized yet, so it's not on here. But we do have a chapter that's interested in helping us to host this possibly. This will be open for online submissions as it has been in the past, September 1 through September 30th. Again, we're working within that same timeline. You will digitally submit your photos within the categories that we've had in years past. And then those will be added into our app, and they will be voted on during the conference. So again, that deadline is also September 30th. And more details about all of these contests will be on the website once we've got them all cleaned up. Okay, Michelle, you want to talk about Project Fair?
Yeah. So the Chapter Project Fair, this is something that we have every year at the annual meeting. Again, this same deadline for the Project Fair as well. And this is our opportunity. This is the event where we invite every chapter, as you wish, to submit a project that could be one of the top 3 projects in the state. Or awarded as a top project in the state for the past year. The call for projects is opening soon, and what happens is your chapter would, among your board and among your chapter leadership, think about a project that you would want to submit. The first step in the process is submitting a little description, a short couple of sentence paragraph description about your project. And then in October on the 11th, all of the projects that have been submitted for the contest will be presented by your chapter. And that is our TNM Tuesday event for advanced training event for October, along with the annual meeting. So keep in mind that once you submit the project, kind of synopsis, you would be presenting it in October in about a 10 to 15 minute, I think it was 10 or 15 minutes length of time. And we'll give you things to cover. So the presentations replace what used to be our old project poster boards, and doing it in this manner, we kind of adapted over the pandemic when we couldn't come together for our annual meeting, and this was very popular for our members and for our chapters to be able to share in this method. And so this is something kind of the pandemic that we're keeping going forward. Chapters can present their projects and kind of their best of the best projects in this manner and share with so many more people in this manner than what we had previously with just being offered at the annual meeting. So yeah, we're looking forward to hearing from your chapter on what you want to submit. And again, the project submission process will open here shortly. So, and while you're kind of hunting for more information on the project fair, you can see our top 3 winners in the recordings from their presentations. They're actually all the recordings from all of our projects that were presented last year are on the website.
I just dropped that link into the chat for last year's presentations as well.
So there's so many great ideas and great projects that are being conducted within our chapters. I wish we could give awards to all of them. And I hope that's the case in the coming new year or this year, that there's just so many worthy of awards. It's hard to pick. And I don't do the picking, but it's hard to pick.
All right, speaking of other contests and awards, Michelle, you want to do the video contest as well?
Another item that we're having return this year is our video contest. And so again, the opening of the contest is the same as all the others, and then the deadline is the same as all the others, September 30th. We first established the video contest as when social media was kind of coming into play with promoting our chapters and promoting what we do and what the program does. And so that we had a video contest kind of start because of that. And we continue it here today because social media is such a huge part of the promotion of our program and communicating about what we do. Chapters can develop a video, just a up to 3-minute video, anywhere from 1 to 3 minute video, talking about what you do as a chapter. It can cover a field-based project. It can cover a historical or anniversary event of the chapter. What we look for in these videos is something that promotes your chapter and what you do. So ideally, the video that your chapter would submit would be something that you're already using on your social media to tell your public and your communities about what you're doing, how great you are, and why a new person should become part of the Master Naturalist program.
And the previous year's winners are also on our website as well. So we can share those with you guys as well. I need to find that link. I'll find that link and I'll drop it here in just a second. Some more about the annual meeting, and I think there's about 2 or 3 more slides on the annual meeting here. We are looking for event sponsors. Your chapter can be a sponsor. We're also reaching out to our partner organizations as well to be sponsors. Event sponsors have recognition at 5 different levels: the friend, ecologist, steward, conservationist, and the naturalist level. And there's different recognition level items for each of those different levels. Sponsorship does help us to reduce registration cost, helps us to add in fun parts of the event, additional coffee, additional resources, additional speakers, everything. So sponsors helps us to provide a better, more well-rounded annual meeting without having to add that into our registration cost per person for the event. If one of the slides that we had on last year, Michelle, we need to add that slide back into this slide set for presidents is, especially for our new chapter presidents, the annual meeting is a break-even event. It is not a fundraiser event for us. As a state program, we use the annual meeting as a way to train and engage and celebrate you as our volunteers. It is not a fundraiser event. I'm going to say that one more time. It is not a fundraiser event. We style and manage the budget for the annual meeting to be a break-even event. So every little bit helps us to reduce that registration cost. And I have a beautiful color-coded Excel spreadsheet that helps us to manage that budget in a price reducing way for that registration. So that's where the sponsorship helps to provide into that. Carla asks, is there a sponsorship deadline? There is not currently. Sponsorship received before a certain day goes into helping with registration costs. Sponsorship received after a certain day helps us to add in those additional items like coffee and things that, that we don't typically add in early on into the budget. So it's a long way of saying, no, there's not a deadline. But please help us to create that awareness for sponsorships amongst your partners and your chapter as well.
I will say though, that the sooner the better, because that helps the bottom line on registration costs also. So the sooner we have sponsorships in, the better bottom line registration costs we can get you as members as well. So all of the sponsorships help offset the total cost of providing the meeting.
And we did receive our first sponsorship from the Alamo area chapter. So this is open now. And Michelle, will you drop that link for the sponsorship into the chat for me as well? Okay.
And so to answer your question, Nancy, you can send it in now. We've already received one, as Mary Pearl said.
Thank you guys. Okay, more about the annual meeting. Y'all have seen this slide before, but I'm going to keep it in this slide deck as we keep going forward with the annual meeting planning. Our current tentative short agenda is to start the event on Thursday. Mute you, Robert. We'll have the presidents and advisors luncheon on Thursday, October 20th. So please plan accordingly to arrive by Thursday at lunchtime. We'll have pre-event field sessions and an all attendee welcome dinner that evening. Friday will be all day technical sessions and field sessions, a keynote at lunch, and a social dinner as well. Saturday, that is still misspelled from the last time we did this slideshow, but that's all day technical sessions and field sessions. Conservation Science Fair award winners will present at our luncheon as we're planning currently. And then our award ceremony dinner. Sunday is contest awards and pin announcement at breakfast. This is open to change, but this is our current kind of planning short agenda. Okay. I think that covers it for annual meeting. Michelle, did you have anything else on?
Yeah, just mention that that's a rough agenda. Again, and things like the keynote addresses could be held Friday or Saturday or even Sunday.
Yeah, based off of that speaker's availability. Okay. And then since our June, so the other thing that I wanted to make sure that y'all saw here too, let me go back, is since our June chapter president's meeting is TMN Tuesday focused and won't focus on this stuff. You won't hear me talk about the annual meeting again until July, after we've already launched the agenda and the registration prices. So that'll be right before we have our August meeting. Right?
We still have a president's meeting in June.
No, it's our TMN Tuesday event.
A president's meeting in June,
No, in June, you're right. That's
Yeah.
July. Okay.
Yeah, July's the crossover.
June is the right one. Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
need to
we
get
will
on
still
that.
be talking about the annual meeting again for you in June.
In June. Okay.
And we will be meeting with you again in June.
Thank you. I need more coffee. Okay, so I'm going to let you take the next couple slides, Michelle, then.
Yeah. One of the questions in the chat when we first got started is how can we tell you about our chapter trainings that we have coming up, and typically our office helps promote your chapters, fall trainings, spring trainings, and your application periods. And so we just talked about this morning. So with the changeover of our student workers for the program, Annabelle's just coming on. And so this is one of her next things to get working on, is setting up the survey. We call it a survey. It's just a place on our website where you can drop the information about your fall training class information. And we'll get that updated soon and send a note out to all of our chapters, the new class training coordinators and presidents, to be able to add information about your fall training classes coming up. And then we will typically we put together a press release, a news release on all fall trainings that are happening, and the application periods. So be sure to include your application deadlines and information in the fall training announcement, which the form asks for all of that information as well. And then just a reminder, over the summer, we typically have people looking to get involved in something, or kind of looking and beginning their fall training or fall planning. And so that's why the fall training announcement is so essential to get out during the summer. But also keep your websites, if you can, keep your websites up to date about who to contact for fall training, and any other information in your chapter, because that is the first place people go to gain or gather information. So if you have a contact person there that can talk about either of those things, your chapter in general, your fall training, and how to register and get signed up, that is important.
Speaking of websites and updates, for the websites, we are also working on a state website update with Annabelle on now. One of her early tasks in her employment with us is to be working on updating and reorganizing the TMN state website. There are some things that I have put off on the website that I've just had a kind of a brain block on. The two pages that I struggle with the most are the chapter documents and the chapter supplies page. Those are found under that 4 chapters drop down right there. There's just so much information on those 2 pages. And it's been less organized than I'd like it to be, in a way that makes it easiest for you guys to be able to pick up and find. So know that we'll probably be changing those 2 pages over the next couple of months. With Annabelle on now, but I'm hoping to make them cleaner, easier, quicker clicks for you guys as you are engaging in some of that material. Because again, our entire guiding documents is on part of one of those pages, and it gets lost with everything else that we have on that page. So please look forward to some of those changes. Okay. Some more chapter resources as well. Our meeting owls are currently out. Remember, we have our 14 meeting owls loaned out to chapters right now. They are on half-year basis. The first half of 2022 are in the hands of chapters being used. I've seen lots of really great feedback on how those chapters are using their owls in their training classes, their hybrid meetings, etc. Many of them will be flying back home to my state office within the next month or so. I did send an email out to those who are currently holding a meeting owl, and then we'll be opening that meeting owl loaner program up in the fall for those who have fall training classes. And that is a first come first serve basis for loaning out those meeting owls as well. Yep, and Michelle posted information there about the meeting owls on the website. Okay. Pins.
So pins ordering, I think we've over the past couple months we've mentioned to you that we now have the link on the website where you can order your pins. So instead of sending an email or trying to print off what was the old form off of the website, fill it out, scan it, and then send it in, we now have a form on our website that you can just fill in that information and it gets sent in. So anything 2,500 hours and less will go to, right now it's going to Craig Hensley to fill because Olivia just left work from the agency. And so Craig is filling in the interim until I can get a new person hired. He'll be filling pins. And then anything, when you fill out that form, anything 4,000 hours and above will come to me. And I will fulfill those orders and get those out to your chapter. So just a reminder that the form is on the website now, that if you could help communicate the information to your membership coordinators, your VMS folks, anybody who would help in ordering pins, direct them to this link on the website. So the other thing that's with this updated process of ordering on the website is that we send pins out monthly now. So all the orders that come in throughout the month will be sent at the end of the month. So we're nearing the end of May. Everything that is coming in May will be sent out at the end of the month, this month. May is the exception because Olivia, before she left employment, she did fill all the orders before her last day. So everything has been sent out for the first part of May. That was all sent out on the 13th of May. And then the rest of the orders that have come in since then, Craig will be sending at the end of the month, this month. And then a reminder on pins ordering in our updated process is that in September, for things that come in at the end of September and up until the annual meeting for October, we will be hand delivering those to your chapter at the annual meeting. So someone from your chapter will be taking home those orders back to your chapter when they attend the annual meeting that month. And so that helps us cut down on expenses because it is very expensive to mail these pins out for everybody.
And I dropped the link in the chat for that pin ordering. Those links will stay the same. They may move on the page a little bit as we're reorganizing the website, but those links will stay the same that we've got there. Okay, more website stuff as well. There's a lot happening on the back end during the hot months. It's always nice to take a good refresh on your website, on our website, and especially now that we have Annabelle here. The other big website news is that we do have our trainings, our WordPress trainings back again. These are on a monthly basis. The AgriLife WordPress team is hosting these for us once more. They are on the first Tuesdays of the month. We are hosting them via Zoom, and that link has been sent out to all webmasters and I believe to chapter presidents. It's been a few months. It will stay the same Zoom link for each of these meetings. And there's also a survey for topics that are needed on that WordPress. Michelle, can you grab that here, I'll grab it. This is the link for the, nope, that's the other one. Here's the WordPress training link. This website in the chat now, that WordPress trainings recordings page has the survey, previous recordings, and more information about those monthly trainings as well. Okay. All right.
So regional Webex accounts, just a reminder, we gave you a little bit of an update on regional Webex accounts at the last meeting, but just a reminder on this. One of the things that we learned after the meeting last time is that you can go to either this tpwd.webex.com page, or you can go just to the old webex.com and log into the regional accounts from there. What we found is when one is working, the other one is not, and it's I can't explain it. One day it works on this tpwd.webex.com site, the next day it doesn't, and I have to go to the webex.com site. So if one isn't working, try the other. And then just reminders on the regional Webex accounts. Don't forget to download any of your recordings for your chapter as soon as possible. I do have to go in at the beginning of every month and delete anything that's older than a month or very close to a month old from those, so that we can keep the account clean and not run into storage problems for anybody else trying to record their meetings. And some additional reminders, just remember that don't change the avatar or the profile picture in the Webex account, and then don't rename it either, because a few chapters per region use the regional account. Always check the calendar as far out as you can before setting up any new meetings. And then just a reminder that I go in and I check each of the accounts on the 5th of the month or by the 5th of the month, and delete anything that's a month or nearing a month old.
Okay. Next slide is about the license plate. As promised, we'll continue to update you guys on our license plate sales. I'll be requesting Q3 here in the next couple of weeks on June 1st, I believe. I've got it on my calendar to request our Q2 sales quarterly reports from the DMV and share that with you guys as soon as I have it. Please help us to continue to market the license plate across with especially with your new members as they're joining the program, as you're getting back into in-person and you're seeing the license plates line up in the parking lot. It's always fun to be able to compare license plates across all the vehicles that parked up at chapter meetings or at projects as well. Okay. Okay, and here's where I got it mixed up. So Michelle, we don't have a June chapter president's meeting. We have a July joint one. We canceled the June one for the summer meeting, and we have just a July one. I did have it right. I did have it right. So we have a July joint TNM Tuesday event. So you will not hear from us again on a president's meeting style presentation again until August 30th, which between now and then, a lot is going to happen. Call for proposals will close. Agenda and registration costs will launch for the annual meeting. Registration will launch August 1st for the annual meeting. So lots going to happen over the next 2 months before we reconnect with you guys on August 30th in this style of a chapter president's meeting. That's what I was concerned about. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, and yeah, it's coming back to me now. We had to do that because we were not sure of, we had to keep June open for
CHEL. Yeah. Yes. And then I think summer vacations and all of that stuff as well. All right. Are there any questions on the timeline with the couple of months that we've got coming up? I think that's all that I have. We have time for some open roundtable questions as well. Or we can go back on a few slides and answer some questions on slides if you'd like.
Very Pearl. This is Rick Travis, Blackman Prairie.
Hi, Rick.
Trying to send my contact information out. We have two initiatives I'd like some counsel on from anybody that's out there that's listening, and we can discuss it, or I can just get some contact information through chat. Two things. One of them is we have a large Asian American demographic in Collin County, and so we're working on an outreach program for Asian Americans. And if anybody's been down that path prior to our just now starting to put this thing together, any insight you might be able to provide on an Asian American outreach program would be great. And I just threw in my contact information, or you can put it into chat yourself. And I'd just like to connect with some folks that maybe have some experience with that. And the second item I'd like to either discuss or just get some connections with has to do with hybrid meetings for the chapter meetings. We've conducted 2 hybrid meetings now. And from a technical standpoint, they're going okay. We're working through a couple of audio challenges. That always seems to be audio challenges with hybrid meetings. We worked our way through that. However, we're scratching our heads about some of the non-technical aspects of hybrid meetings. So for folks that maybe have been doing hybrid meetings longer than we have, if you're willing to discuss the ins and outs and maybe some refinements you made to your hybrid meetings that has helped with the quality and with the in-person attendance of the hybrid meetings, I'd appreciate any insight along those lines. That's it.
No, that's a great question for open discussion. I think the first question was about the outreach initiative. I think that's a great opportunity for folks to connect with you directly with that email address that you have there. But that second question on the hybrid chapter meetings, if there are folks that have hybrid chapter meetings that would like to unmute and share their methods for, you're right, you've got the technology down, but how do you then now have people engaging and opening chat and things like that?
Our major issue has been a surprise. We really expected the majority of the folks to come back to in person, and the percentage has been just the opposite of what we expected. So our challenge is, how do we, COVID aside, how do we incent folks to change their behavior again after 2 years of living in the COVID world, of actually coming back in person? Because the majority of our folks are still attending through Zoom. We're getting great attendance, but we're not getting real good attendance in person wise. So,
Rick, this is Sharon Hamilton, Cross Timbers, Fort Worth area, Parker County. We have some of the same we have the same problem with in-person attendance. We were hybrid up through February, for a few months up through February, had very poor in-person attendance, which is discouraging and it's also not great for the speaker. You know, the speaker, as everyone knows, you feed off the audience. And then we had our March meeting was our award ceremony. So that was in person. We held our April meeting in person only. And what's happened is that then we've had several people say, we'd like to have a Zoom option. So our May meeting we went at the last minute, we went back to hybrid, and it may be the quality of the speaker, but we had about 45 people in person and about the same number by Zoom. The speaker was Amy Martin. So can't do that every month, but if people really want to hear the speaker or see the speaker in person, that was helpful. I don't know what will happen in June when we don't have such an engaging and well-known speaker. We have the same issues.
Carolyn, you had some ideas.
I'm Carolyn Henderson from Milam County, or Cameron, Texas. We're a very small town. And we took a vote on whether to come off of Zoom and go to hybrid, and we did that. It was an overwhelming vote, and we have far more people attending in person than on hybrid. The last meeting, there were only 3 on the Zoom end and 38 in the meeting in person. So you know,
Yeah.
I guess it depends, but part of that, we have a little bit of problem with the internet here. It's not the best of internets. The speed is not good. So sometimes our Zoom stuff does not go very well.
Well, and then in Rick's case, he's got folks who have, you know, super urban areas who have a high drive time in order to make it to chapter meetings
Right.
as well.
Mhm.
Suzanne, did you have something you wanted to add?
I do. I did kind of what Sharon did at the very beginning of the year. We did a survey monkey to ask them, do they want to come? Do they not want to come? Do they like Zoom? Do they not like Zoom? Webex. And the majority of the people wanted to get back into a group session. But life happens, right? So those that are taking care of a sick parent or are working, or because we do ours on the first Wednesday of the month at 1 o'clock. We have an older group, most of them are retired, but for those that aren't, that's painful. So I moved them out. We went out and we did at some of our partner sites, we did off-site meetings. So I got them out of the church, which is where we meet. And we went out into our partners, and that pretty much broke that mold. They liked it. They got to see everybody. That's really what we do. And that's kind of our purpose, is to go out in the community and do things. So that was kind of my workaround. Now I still have held, when we're back in the church, if I get asked, I will put up a Webex. But you're right, there's always some kind of technical issue, but there's enough smart people out there in order to do it. But I get about 55 that'll be in person, and 10-ish maybe that'll be on Webex if we're back in the church.
Rick, I like that idea of varying up your chapter meeting locations, so that you'll have some technical issues if you're continuing with the hybrid around, but then that's encouraging, that's giving that kind of location-based incentive for folks to come back to an in-person meeting as well.
Well, and if I can interrupt again, in one of the offsites, we ended up doing interpretive trail walks. And so we gave different distances and difficulties of ability, right, based on the members. They get to pick whichever one they want. They loved it. They had a ball. And we were late coming back. So I'm thinking, okay, well, they're going to leave because I'm in the last group. They're going to leave. They're not going to be there for the meeting. They all stayed, and they were all just, you know, yapping it up, thinking that this was good. We're back together. So it worked for us.
Everybody's insight. This has been helpful. We did do a survey of the chapter and got a great response on it. And we're in the middle of interpreting it all now, and it's all over the place. Frankly, we may be more situationally, like I think Sheridan mentioned, situational. It depends on the speaker, the month, you know, what we have going on. There's a lot of talk. If we do in persons, then we would make sure it has a good hands-on element to it, like maybe a trail walk or doing a workshop type environment.
Have you tried food?
We've talked about food. We've been giving snacks, but we haven't really gone back to potluck. There's a little resistance to that right now.
Yeah,
still.
that's true. I hadn't thought about that part.
But and actually in the survey, some folks mentioned food. Will there be food? They actually were asking that in the survey, you know, if they come back. So no, this is good. Sounds like there's been a lot of shared experiences to a large extent.
Yeah, it might be just continuing to try different setups, different scenarios, different speakers, different engagement opportunities each time to find the one thing that fits right. And I'm sure that'll also seasonally fluctuate as folks go into hotter months and summer months of vacation, fall and spring when things are busy or work projects are busy or whatnot.
Carolyn, I see you said potluck's a big draw. Are you currently doing potlucks? So you're doing potlucks? Okay.
We're doing potlucks. I know it sounds silly, but it's a big draw.
Our survey, food came up in the survey, you know.
Right. We're keeping the hybrid meetings just for those who would not be able to attend for whatever reason. We don't want to exclude anybody. So we're keeping it, but the most people are coming. So
Awesome. This is great discussion. Thank you, Rick, for opening this up. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it very much.
Of course. Michelle, I haven't been watching chat. Are there some kind of takeaways out of the chat on this?
I've been trying to answer a few different questions. A chapter mentioned that there seems, when they do a hybrid meeting, there seems to be like chat going on in chat online, but then chat going on in the meeting room. And so I had asked in the chat, our chat, if chapters are showing the meeting on a big screen that's going on in the meeting room that they have. So that may be some of there's not two different, they can see the conversation that's happening in chat as well. So that might be one option to think about.
The more, you know what, Michelle, I was going to say, the more hosts and co-hosts, the better, because the more you split up your responsibilities in that hybrid meeting, you can use a co-host, for instance, or not even a co-host, a different person that's kind of outside of the hosting capability for putting it on the screen. And that way you don't have every little question coming up on the screen as people are watching it. Because it is distracting from the audience. The hosts are looking at the questions and the chat, but the audience is paying attention to the speaker. And you want that to be the case because the speaker is, of course, engaged with people in front of them. So that does help. The more people you have engaged, the better.
Yeah.
And I mean, the more people on your team, it does mean more volunteers working and not enjoying the program, but it does make things work much more smoothly.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I know y'all have been working on hybrid for a long time now.
Oh, we're still tweaking.
Yeah.
We'll
And
never
I think that's-
be done. It's always tweaking.
I think that's the key takeaway with this new kind of normal of hybrid meetings is that there will be continued steps forward and steps backwards or steps sideways and changes and updates and things like that. So continuing to stay flexible sounds like it's a key priority. Okay, in the last couple of minutes, we will get the recording stopped here shortly. I'll get the slides in the chat and the notes from Sherry. Thank you, Sherry, for taking notes for us today. I'll get that posted by this afternoon, if not tomorrow morning. I'm also going to grab the chat because there was a lot of stuff in the chat that was really useful today. And so I'll also put that on the website as well, so y'all can see that and engage with that. Michelle, did you have anything else?
Nope.
Nope. All right, so we will not talk to you guys again. This is making me sad now. We will not talk to you guys again until August 30th in this style. We will talk to you in July, but we will have it as a joint TNM Tuesday event. All right, yes, have a great summer, everybody.
Just real quick to mention, one of the things I'm going to check into is I had a question in the chat. Someone asked about the Slack training, which we tried to do at the last meeting and we had to cancel last minute because Bert got sick. And so one thing I want to check into is maybe that June meeting, the 28th, when we would have had our regular June meeting, but we rescheduled, is maybe see if Bert can do a Slack training at that date as an alternative.
Yeah.
And if Bert's not available, I'm happy to do it too.
Yeah,
Okay.
Shannon's an expert.
I love Slack. It has made my life so much easier.
Okay. So watch your emails. Key takeaway. We've got lots, and watch the website. All right, y'all have a great summer. Thank you guys. We'll talk to you at the June TNM Tuesday, July TNM Tuesday joint president's meeting, and then again in August in this style.
Thanks, Mary and Michelle.
Of course, I'm going to.
I enjoyed it. It's my first one. Thank you.
You did a great job.